Alrighty, I'm on the road to 100 divines, and this is what I've farmed so far. Well, alright, this is part of what I farmed, because obviously I needed to use some to fuel my character, buy gear, get more supplies to farm. My strategy, pretty simple, Einhar's Memory of Crystal Prisons, because it gets you the most essences per hour. I say it's 1,000 plus in the title, that's probably an underestimation. When I'm being efficient, it's more like 1,500. But that's kind of ridiculous, and I don't know how many people are going to be able to do 1,500 an hour. So I put a more conservative 1,000. And in terms of what I've farmed, let me check what this tab's worth. Of course, excluding the remnants of corruption, because I just buy those, I don't farm them. But excluding remnants of corruption, let's see if I can pull this up here. So whether I sell in TFT or not depends on how many essences I have. For this many, absolutely not. Because I have way too many essences to sell to an aggregator. I am essentially the aggregator at this point. If I had less, then yes, I would. Yeah, I've got about 44.66, or maybe we can round up to 45 divines and essences from when I was testing this off stream to see if I can do the stream. I have quite a few memories left, so we're going to go through those very shortly. And this isn't really 100% accurate, because the Puri Ninja price varies from the actual price, especially in bulk. But it'll give you an idea that roughly 44 divines. And so now I'm gonna take this off screen, put this over here, I get to farming, and we'll see what the value becomes. It's gonna go up. The question is, by how much? More likely, yes. The goal is to have 100 divines and essences by the time I'm done. And I've kind of done a little math that makes me think that's what I'll have. Because I've got 15 more memories to run. And the loot from that, I'd have to check my notes, but it's something like 17 or 18. What you do is you just go into these maps, you look for the essences. If it isn't an essence, I don't care about it. Well, all right, there's a couple things I care about, but for the most part, if it's not an essence, I don't care about it. I sold my very first set on TFT, which I think I got 3 divines for the essences I sold on TFT. It wasn't the most efficient, but I just needed the money to buy these memories to begin with, so I didn't care about the loss. The second set, I sold about 30 divines worth of essences, and I did that manually. And how much did I spend on the memories? Around 22 divines. But I started from basically nothing, and I built my currency up. I farmed essences and maps for the first few divines. And then I used those to buy the initial memories. After I bought the initial memories, I used the money from that to buy more. My build is Cold Dot Elementalist. And then I just come out here, start the next map. Reason I am not alching these, A, it doesn't increase the rewards from essences at all. B, it makes things very, very spooky. Probably shouldn't have corrupted that one, but that's okay. I'm not sure why you're posting your IGN there. Care to elaborate a little bit? And yes, I did just flip my efficacy support, so that's why that keeps leveling up. Things are going to try to off-screen me, but it's a low-tier map, so I don't care. I'll be honest with you, I haven't checked the price of Life Force in a bit. If it's economical, absolutely yes. If it's not economical, then no. There's not really a way to farm the memory maps. They're an extremely rare drop and an extremely random drop. All right, I believe that was 5. I'm just going to go over here to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that was 5. Yeah, it was. Cool. You going to interrupt me? Yeah, you will. There's always 5 exiles in the map, so once you've done all 5, you can leave. Yeah, it's very likely worth it. I just don't commit to stuff like that before actually checking the prices, and I haven't done that in a bit. The real question is, when I have the roughly 100 divines and essences, do I sell all the essences afterwards? Or do I craft them? I'm leaning towards crafting them. Because that's always fun. And also, if you craft with 100 divines and essences, you probably end up with like 300 divines. The only hesitance I have in terms of a crafting stuff is it makes it much harder to make a video. Much, much harder to make a video. I'm only doing essences at the moment. You can't really do beasts with this strategy. Beast would be its own entirely separate thing here. The interesting thing about this crafting or this farming method is it's not on your atlas. It doesn't scale off of anything that your atlas has on it. And, you know, I wasn't keeping track of this one, if this is 5 or not. So I'm just going to run to the end of a map. I think it's, yeah, that was 5. The nice thing about linear layouts is you can't really skip essences even if you want to. Nope. I mean, essences don't scale off of map tier regardless. But this is using Einhar's special atlas, which is why you start it from him. Other atlas memories would scale off of map tier just because their mechanics do, but essences do not. Essences, they are just what they are. Ooh, a shrine. And in fact, in this case, lower is better because the modifiers definitely need to scale, or definitely do scale. To farm this, if you're talking about how much investment into your build, not very much. I'm well under 10 divines investment into my build, and I haven't been particularly efficient with my money so far. Though some of that's just stuff that I found, so technically my character might be worth 10 divines with price shifts, but I kind of doubt it. Since you're clearing in, I guess in my case, up to tier 6, but in a lot of cases, only tier 5 maps, you really don't need very much gear. Right. I believe that was the last one. I need to get better at keeping track of my essences while also streaming. Because normally I just count and I can keep track of it. But right now while streaming, I am not doing the best job of it. You cannot do beast with beast this strategy. Doesn't work. All right, I did get all 5. Yes. So maybe I'm doing a better job of keeping track than I think. Okay. There we go. Activate that. And put a new one on my map. Oh, nice little lag spike there. So I'm looking for a lot of shrieking so that I can upgrade them to deafening. Exactly like that. Thank you for being such a good demonstration, game. Is this very profitable? Good question. Kind of depends on prices. In most cases, yes, very profitable. I do not have a video on this strat now. The video on this strat will be coming out after I do the testing, which, congratulations, you're watching the testing. So you can kind of consider this an early preview of a video. Luckily, there's not much to it. You just click essences all day. As for how profitable it is, I haven't checked my profit per hour recently, but when I started doing this, I was making 17 divines an hour. That said, prices were very different when I did that. It could be significantly lower or significantly higher at this point. I don't know for sure which it is. I don't know why I really did the gem cutters. Sometimes it drops something good, though. Probably should have corrupted that one and hoped for upgrade. It's 3... So 2 more ones usually in the boss room. There's probably going to be one more somewhere around here. So you make around 30 C each less. My bet is it's similar profit then, because essences have probably gone up rather than down. Again, though, I have not done detailed price checking, so do not quote me on that. No, I'm not taking anything on the Atlas here. This is not on the Atlas. There is no Einhar Atlas device. This is an Atlas memory. All right. Oh, yeah, I should probably dump stuff out of my inventory. Yeah, all Atlas memories use their own special quote-unquote Atlas. That's why you can't combine this with any other strategies. You're doing this, and that's it. You can actually see it right here. See how it's 5 monsters are imprisoned. Imprisoned have 5 essences. Essences are a tier higher. All that stuff. It's essentially the essence mods. But this is how it works. And whereas normally you'd be able to combine your essence with beasts or with harbinger or whatever, this is just this. You can't really influence it. No expedition. In the very early days, I was doing expedition when I was still on my Atlas, but... Ooh. Deafenings. 5 maps for these. The number of maps depends on the memory itself. And there's an escalating effect, so the later maps are much more rewarding than the early maps. You'll see right now we're getting the small essence explosions. Those will get much bigger as I progress into the later maps. What's my DPS? Enough? I have no idea. You can probably import my profile into POB if you care about my DPS. I bought these for 95C each the other day. So I spent around 22, 23 divines on the ones that I got. Yep. You have to buy the memories off trade. There's no way to farm these yourself. They're too rare and too random. Okay, could we not ask the question that someone just asked in chat, please? It matters in terms of a difficulty. They're much, much harder in red maps, but it does not matter in terms of the rewards. To be fair, this build is nothing special. The reason this build looks good is because I'm doing modifierless white maps, guys. My build is not super awesome. It's very scuffed. It would probably get destroyed if I tried to do a tier 16. It's just that I haven't been doing tier 16s because there's more money here. Oh, stop shooting me. I think you have to go crit, Jonas. I'm pretty darn sure that late game scaling, you have to go crit on something like Arc. Because I don't think you get enough damage from non-crit is lucky. Yeah, exactly. I know this build looks super awesome, but monster level 71 and there's no modifiers. If your build doesn't look awesome doing this, you probably need to invest a little bit. That means you're super scuffed. Is Arcane Surge enough damage to justify, though? I wouldn't think that Arcane Surge, unless you're specifically mana stacking, is ever worth it. Look, a Chaos Orb. That does happen sometimes. Killing monsters, as it turns out, still gives you loot, even if you don't invest in map modifiers. It's just not nearly as much loot as if you did. That sounds quite painful, yes. But hey, at least it's done, right? I haven't killed either Eater or Exarch. Because I don't need maps. I pushed just far enough to get my basic seed money, and that's been it. Yeah, but 24% is way lower than you should be aiming for. You should be aiming for minimum 30% more. And so if your only supports are 24%, and you multiply that across multiple supports, you end up with the situation where you can't really scale your damage. Why don't I corrupt all of them? Because it's not worth corrupting a lot of the lower tier stuff. And in some cases, corrupting will actually make the drops no different really, or in rare cases actually worse. You want to corrupt when A, you have at least one scream. Actually, wait, I'm just going to use this as an example. Okay. So you want at least one screaming because that will upgrade potentially into a shrieking, guaranteeing that the monster is doubled. And then you want as many shrieking as possible so that they upgrade into deafening. Like this. Oh, God damn it. Not lucky. I don't even have a POB for my build, but you are free to import my character from the description. Also, yes, I've been doing this strat for a couple days now. It's how I've made all of my money. I don't know what me talking about it will do to the market, to be honest. We'll have to see. Oh, there we upgraded to Delirium. It's always an interesting one, because sometimes when I talk about things, prices go insane for a bit, and sometimes they actually come down. And I'm not sure what you mean by how did I bootstrap this. If you mean how did I afford it, I farmed regular essences in maps for a bit, sold those essences, and used the money to buy the first 5 memories. And after that, I've just been looping memories, reinvesting the money. If you mean in terms of my build, I just bought random stuff with a few divines that I had left over. My gear's not very well optimized. It's optimized for going fast in low tier maps. When will the video be? Good question. Well, that depends on how much money I have by the end of this stream. My Atlas tree does not matter. This is not on the Atlas. Yep, pure essence is what I did at the start. It's not the only way. You can also do heist. You can also do a lot of other things. That's just what I did. It should be noted, though, the barrier to entry was significantly lower for me because I was paying 80C per memory. And now they're apparently over 100. So that is something to keep in mind. I don't know if I went the right way with this one. We'll see. Oh, yes. See, this is why you want to have at least one screaming and as many shrieking as possible. Because that's just pure money. 110 plus. Yeah. So the barrier to entry is a bit more expensive. Even at that price, I'd say it's still worth it. Though that's a guess based on what the price of essences were. Probably should have upgraded that one, but oh well. It's too... I just have a feeling there's something over here. I'm going to go look. With how much value these are, you do not want to miss an essence. Maybe not. Maybe I was fine all along. Yep, I was fine all along. Oh well. Time to find the other 3. There's one. One's usually in the boss room as well. This map. How's it going? One in the boss room. Maybe I'll get a good essence. I did. Delirium. Have to watch out for the little caustic arrow trails. They can hurt quite a lot if your chaos res isn't high. If you are new to farming essences, I would do regular essences rather than this strategy. This strategy is to abuse the Atlas memory to get mass amounts of high tier essences very quickly.
Great you have seen.
The whole idea is money printer go burr. Reason I didn't upgrade there is that was shrieking. If I had upgraded to deafening, I'd go from 2 monsters dropping shrieking to 1 monster dropping deafening with no chance at a good essence, which is unfortunate because that means you only get a 50% essence gain, and you don't generally want to corrupt on 50% essence gains unless there's a corrupted essence. Which is why I corrupted the second one that was 4 shriekings. Well, I haven't checked the price of essences, so I can't answer that yet. I'll let you know after I run through the 15 memories that I have. So stick around to the end of the stream and you'll find out how profitable it is. I know that when I was doing it at 80C, I was making 17 divines an hour. But also, that was 2 days ago now. So prices were significantly different. Actually, was it 2 days? Not quite. Let's say 1.5 days. How so many? That's just this farming method. You always get this many from this Atlas memory. And I'm going to be either selling via the trade site or just crafting with them. At the amount that I have, it's not worth using the bulk sale tool because you will have enough to significantly set your own prices. People are going to come to you because you don't need to list it for chaos orbs. You can list it for divine orbs, which is usually when the exchange rates are significantly more profitable in favor of the essence seller. Because if someone's buying essences in divines, they don't care about saving pennies. They care about getting a lot of essences quickly. Is that any good? No, that's not any good. That was a really bad one. I haven't really looked into Val's side areas or, well, most of his stuff. Because I've just been doing my essence things. That was 5. Which build's kind of OP in the League mechanic? Anything where you can generate proximity shield. Proximity shield is super OP because you wipe the enemy team once, and then when they're respawning, you take out a bunch of their totems. And assuming that you have units that are flanking and getting in the way, their melee units can't really touch you, and their ranged units also can't touch you. I don't know why I upgraded that. That was a mistake. It was only 2 shrieking. Sometimes when I'm reading quickly, I miss stuff like that. The thing about farming strategies is you can't use anecdotal evidence from 1 or 2. So if you want to know, are unique vol side areas profitable? You really have to do 100 unique vol side areas, which takes a long time. If you want to know more about how to use Essence of Corruption, then check out my Essence guide over at MaxRollGG. I go into the corruption conditions that also applies here in quite a bit of detail. I don't think self-damage would be an issue. Or at the very least, not a properly built self-damage character. Because a properly built self-damage character doesn't suffer any ill effects from their self-damage. And if you are, you're probably not fully geared yet. Which is pretty common on League Start. And that's why self-damage outside of Bone Shatter is pretty difficult to gear for. Bone Shatter's easy because you can pretty easily fully recover the self-damage you take. God damn it. I hate when I click Menagerie. No. Let me back into my hideout. I don't want to be here. Einhar's kidnapping me. On to the next map. Oh. Yeah, anything with damage persistence is definitely better. When you were saying self-damage, I was thinking something like Bone Shatter or Word Loop, which generally tends to be pretty good. I'm a cold dot elementalist, but realistically, build doesn't matter here. There's very, very low difficulty in running unalked white maps. Though occasionally, if I'm not careful, I will still die on the tier 5s and 6s just because essences are that spooky. But overall, there's very little difficulty as long as I pay attention and don't stand in all the bad. But you know, standing in bad's fun sometimes. Who else likes to stand in bad? Speaking of doing dumb things, let's do this. How much damage do I have? Enough. I have no idea how much DPS I have. No, higher tier maps do not grant higher ranks of essences. That's specifically why I'm doing it in low tier maps. This is not on the Atlas, so no, I don't have an Atlas planner for it. They do not, Hayden. Memories are completely separate from your Atlas. Essentially, I'm using Einhar's Atlas here. So anything I allocate has no effect. The only thing that I can do would be to socket or remove watchstones to change the tier of a map. Yep. It's also why this strategy works so well early, because even if you don't have full completion it doesn't penalize you at all. Oh, there's 2 essences here. Although this one's a little unfortunate. There's no shrieking upgrade there. Or no screaming to shrieking, I should say. So I didn't get the 2 times multiplier. You buy them from other players, or drop them very randomly. Correct, Amari. It is a witch build. Is that? Yeah, it's a witch build. See, this is just Hideout Warrior with extra steps, because I'm probably going to use all the essences that I've farmed to craft after this. I thought about just going hard on logbooks and using ROG instead. But I wanted to do something a little different. So here I am. I have not tried uncorrupted Valside areas. I've been doing this all the time. Which means I don't get to try any of the keystones. The only thing I tried minimally was expedition stuff. I believe that was 5. Yep, that's exactly my plan with this. I've got a good few essences. Probably better to harvest reroll early, assuming I have the currency, though. I very heavily invested into this because I knew prices on these would go up. So I don't know if I have the currency for that. We'll just see when I get there. Though some of the less expensive ones, a good example being Torment, are usually pretty profitable to craft with. So sometimes even junk essences aren't worth rerolling. Because you can throw Essence of Torment at both boots and belts and very consistently make sellable items for people using the Storm Shroud, like myself. I don't have anything to link in terms of my build, but my profile is down in the description. That depends on the specific memory, Hawkblade. Each memory works differently. I think that was 5. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Yes. Wait, did I just fail at math? 1, 2, 3. Wait, yeah, I did fail at math. There's one more essence that I missed, pretty sure. This is what happens when I look at chat too much. I completely lose track of what I'm doing. Maybe I'm crazy. Could be crazy. Let's go investigate. I guess it has to be, looking at this inventory, that I missed one. Probably down here. In terms of this specific memory, you would never want to alchemy them. Yep, I missed one. Okay, not crazy. I feel vindicated. No, it's never in the boss arena. Can't spawn in the boss arena in this map.
Hello. You have
Aw, all whaling. That's unfortunate. I wonder if people buy whaling essences still. Shockingly, the first time I did this, people were buying the whaling essences, which I was not expecting. What did I just pick up? I just clicked a quiver. I doubt it's good. It is not good. Go away, quiver. Nobody likes you. Yep. Tier 2. This is unfortunate. It's already corrupted. Yeah, that's the thing, though. Who is buying, like, 50 whaling essences while they're leveling? Because I wasn't selling 1 or 2 of them to people. I was selling significantly large stack sizes. That was the weirdest part to me.
Hello.
Oh, goddammit, I clicked Menagerie again. No.
Hello. You have seen.
Now, if I move Einhar next to the checkpoint, I'll just click him a bunch of times. He has to be down here. There's already too much stuff near my hideout. Or near the waypoint. Oh, hi, Innocence. Oh, bye, Innocence. That is how you upgrade essences. Two out of 5. It's 3. Four. Oh, look. Twin. Double insanity. Now I just need to find the last one, and then I'm out of here. It was definitely not cheaper than Screaming. But that's the thing, Joseph. It's hilarious to me when it bothers people that I'm taking an extra fraction of a second to walk over to something. Why would I ruin my own enjoyment by moving my waypoint? I mean, maybe, but I don't think anyone's spending, because they're selling for 1 chaos each, which was insane. It was like the same price as Screaming. It was things like the Ellie essences. So I guess people are crafting bows with it. And I would assume just because bow builds are so popular right now that people are legitimately desperate for any essence they could get their hands on. It was not very efficient. How do I know how much profit? By checking the price after running a bunch of them. Because right now, I don't know how much profit I'm getting. I know how much profit I was getting in the past when I bought them previously and sold the essences previously. But prices constantly change over time. So I won't know that until I stop running them and start selling essences. You'll probably learn when I do. That's unfortunate. That's only 3. It means I do have to do the loops. Sometimes you can get lucky and find all 5 essences on Atoll just in that front area. Everyone's probably on the opposite side now. Oh yeah, it's definitely on the other side now. The build's pretty good for the league mechanic because you can be very disruptive. And if properly built, then it's also very good for bossing. But I have not done any bosses yet. Oh, some random dude. That's really easy. You don't get them. You could play the league for 1,000 hours and you will get less of these memories than I have in my stash tab. Like significantly so.
Hello?
Oh, I clicked Menagerie again. See, I wish I could disable the clicking of Menagerie on Einhar. I don't want to go there, Einhar. I need to keep my cursor more to the left so I can't click on Menagerie. Yeah, they are quite rare. I don't think they ever spawn up top. Yeah. The TFT bulk tool is based off of the Pewing Ninja aggregation, which assumes basically a average price for the total listing. And the tool therefore misses, let's just say you have 30 essences of horror, which I probably do. That's going to be worth significantly more than having 3 essences of horror. Especially because you can price things in big bulk in divines rather than chaos. And when you can price essences in divines, you get much more favorable rates, because if someone is willing to pay a divine orb for something, they don't care about being the most economical with their currency. They care about being the most economical with their time. Yes, this is low tier maps. Because they don't want to go out and farm 30 essences of horror. They want to click like 2 times in their inventory and have 30 essences of horror. Right, time to do something dumb. Come here, guys. This could get me killed. The spark spammers are actually somewhat dangerous to me because they teleport away and don't sit in my damage. There we go. See, it worked out. I do not have a guide for this build. I'll eventually make a video, but I do not make league start guides because the way I league start is very different from the way most players league start. As for a video on this farm, coming at some point in the future. I'm not quite sure when. Right now I'm doing the testing, and I'll make the video after. I should have kept the scouring. No, get back in my inventory. Yeah, too many essences, exactly. After this, I'll have to buy more Remnants of Corruption. You know, I'll probably just buy some right now. Another Divine Worth should be plenty. Brings it up to like 3 Divines worth of Remnants, which isn't all that bad. Cold Dot. Ignite Vortex makes for a very poor league starter, and I have not invested into my character. Sanctums are harder than in Sanctum League. Whether I upgrade or not depends on the economy. I have to price check all that later. Yeah, that looks right. What's called that like? You walk near stuff and it dies. So you're a somewhat short range build. However, you have really, really good passive damage. Like, just for an example here, when I'm on the essences, I hit extra buffs and extra damage. But when I'm just walking through the map, all I'm doing is hitting my Cold Snap occasionally and hitting my Frostblink occasionally and just walking. This is just me walking and stuff's dying. Now this is buttons. I like the League mechanic. I like how different it is from regular Path of Exile. Oh. I'm sure that's in part why it's semi-popular, and also, in part, why it's semi-unpopular. One of these times I should snag the Atlas passive point. Yeah, my specific tech is Einhar's Memory of Crystal Prisons. That is the only way to do this. I don't think the rewards are as bad as people state, because you need to get to a certain rating before they improve, and they do markedly improve at that rating. And a lot of the testing that people did is below that. It's 3. I'm A level. I forget. You can always check my profile if you're curious, though. The scaling does seem to get painful past 300. I noticed that as well, that up until 300, it was kind of a breeze. And as of 300, the scaling starts to be to the point where you have to pay attention. There is a rule of thumb, and if you want to know more, I have an essence guide over at Maxwell GG that goes into detail on that. You know what? I might as well pick these up. They're probably junk, but let's see. Okay, so it is at all levels. That's what I was wondering about. So in theory, what you want to do on hardcore to level up is get to like 98 and just run the League mechanic over and over again. Because I noticed it was 2% as well. You just have to not win too much. Because if you win too much, it'll be difficult. That is not the rule for corrupting essences. Those are the you always corrupt, but you also corrupt based on screaming and shrieking. Just corrupting purple essences is a very outdated thing that went away when they added essence dupe to the Atlas tree. Oh, look, Spy's Grip. Because this one, even if there hadn't have been the Envy, I would have corrupted it. Just because there's a high likelihood of upgrading to valuable essences. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. No, Atlas memories do not use your passive tree. The essence dupe does apply into memories because it's part of a memory itself. Greed and Loathing can be. Right now, I wouldn't actually advise upgrading Greed and Loathing but prices aren't in a great place, contempt can also be worth it depending. I have a link to Maxwell down in the description, and my guide will be under currency. I forget if I put an actual link to the guide. I'm really bad at remembering to link stuff. Should probably do that after this. I think that was 5. Looking at the map, yeah, that was definitely 5. You know what? Here's what I'll do. There we go. Should be able to see that in chat. Oh god, there's a stupid emote pop-up thing. God damn it, YouTube. I can't pin my own comment because it just wants me to click a stupid thing. Oh my god, YouTube. There we go. So, I don't really like the idea of sitting on essences such as loathing. I don't think their value goes up by enough that it's worth it versus using the currency for stuff you can sell now. That said, you could probably craft with loathing right now pretty profitably because the price is low and a lot of people are going to want the RMR gear. So here, these are all screaming. I would not really want to upgrade this. Yeah, what I would do with loathing right now instead of sitting on it is just go crafting. Should be really effective. And there's some loathing. The nice thing about loathing is you can use it on so many items. People tend to buy loathing helmets, they tend to buy loathing boots, and they tend to buy loathing chest pieces. Here we go. This is where you get into the... Oh, wait, no, that's still 4 screaming one. God damn it. This guy does chaos damage. He's spooky. He's the EDC guy that you do not want to meet. Five by 5, not 4 by 5. There we go. That's the deafening upgrade I was hoping for. Fear's meh, but Scorn's good. People use it to craft bows.
Hello.
The reason is there weren't enough shrieking there. Because it kept being 2 shrieking, 4 screaming. Don't worry, what I'm doing is probably ruined too. Although, I don't know. I say that half jokingly, but half the time when I make videos like this, the strategy gets better. Like, I remember I made a video on beasts, and the day that I made it, people complained. They're like, oh, prices are going to crash. And then prices went up. Beasts became better after I made the video. It was more profitable to run it rather than less. And yes, 3 shrieking and at least 1 screaming is what I tend to aim for. Whether that's correct or not, I'd have to check the market a bit more. Yeah, so it could be that... Oh, look, cartographers. I'll see if there's any maps I want to pick up. Nope. Could be that this negatively impacts it. Could be that it positively impacts it. Could be a bunch of people are like, oh wait, essences exist. I'm going to go craft. Like this gets upgraded. Though it's only a 1 in 4, I believe. But that 1 in 4 is so profitable, and it only costs you 2 chaos per, that it's absolutely worth it. I'm gonna guess the last essences are over by the boss. They tend to be in this map. Yep, they are both by the boss. So I'm gonna kill the boss first. Because the last thing I need is hyper-aggressive exiles combined with hyper-aggressive exiles. There we go. And I think I need... Yeah, that was the last one. So I've done 5. Going a little slower than off-stream, interestingly. Off-stream, I was doing about 6 of these an hour. On-stream, it looks like it's about 5 an hour. So I'm going to guess that at my speed, 6 an hour is normal, and at slightly distracted speed, it's 5. Wait, where did I put them? Oh, here we go. I've just been putting them all on beach as well, because you tend to get good layouts. Like, this is the ideal, right here. This one's not perfect, but it's fine. That should also answer the question of how many maps you get out of it. See what I get here. Added a zeal. Interestingly enough, adding the zeal was second best case scenario. I have not price checked my essences recently, but if prices are very similar to when I last sold, yes. But I can't tell you for sure. I will know for sure after I price check everything. When I was paying 80C each, it was very profitable. But that was a little bit ago now. I shouldn't stand in that. Ah. Stop hitting me. I just want to get out of a map. Well, Call of the Brotherhood's a pretty good item. There's always a bit of a paradox around talking about money-making strategies, because people always ask me, how do I make money? But by me talking about it, I've changed the value of a strategy. I guess it's called the Grimrow effect. Of course I just run the maps white. Why wouldn't I? Two... 3, 4, and the last one will be up here, I bet. For what they give, 120 isn't that bad. Remember, you're getting 5 maps with 5 exiles that have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total essences. When I last bought, I paid 95C each, which was the average going rate. So if we average that out, 8 plus 4 averages to 6, or 12 divided by 2, which is 6. The same for 5 and 7. So that means for every map, you average roughly 30 essences, and most of them are twinned, which means you get 60 essences. Probably just slightly less than 60, actually. How do you decide? Check the guide in the pinned comment. Oh, that one didn't upgrade. That would have been a juicy one if it had upgraded to double corrupted essence. Oh, that's where it was. Oh, I should have corrupted that. I read that too late, though. I believe that's 5. Yeah, it's definitely 5. Yeah, there's a lot of value here. Which is why 120C really isn't that much. It, at least to me, does not feel like enough that it's not worth it. Because after doing a bunch of these, like, this is what I have in my tab. These are the corrupted essences. I have over 100 of them.
You have seen the...
I actually think deafening are slightly more than 3C on average right now. I could be remembering wrong, but I think there's more that are 4 plus than 2 minus. So it's probably averaging 3.5 or maybe even 4C each for deafening right now. This early in the league, I would not upgrade all the way, no. Late league, yes. But right now, there's probably a stage you stop at. It's probably Shrieking. I will have to check the market on that, though. Last time I did this, for whatever reason, Wailing sold, so I didn't upgrade most of it. I'm still somewhat baffled that Wailing actually sold. I did not expect that. Should have upgraded that or tried to. Definitely making more mistakes in my farming than I would if I was doing this off stream. Both in terms of losing count of the essences and also forgetting to upgrade / upgrading when I shouldn't. So just keep in mind that this is a little bit less efficient than if I was giving it my full attention. But if I was giving it my full attention, I would not be reading chat right now. Probably wouldn't be talking either. I'd just be blasting. I wish him luck. That sounds like a fool's errand. Filling stuff like deafening, that's easy. That's just a matter of money. But filling anything really low tier, Like, below whaling? Oh, good luck. Actually, I guess 1 tier below whaling you can do, but anything below that doesn't appear in maps. Which means you have to farm it in the story. There's a lot of tiers that low. Oh, nice, a forbidden tome. It's a good bit of money for later. Easy deafening upgrade. Yeah. Screaming, shrieking, screaming, screaming, shrieking, screaming. See, this is a borderline one that's worth corrupting. This is Path of Exile. I don't think I'm going to sell the tomes. I'm probably just going to run them. I would imagine they're popular, though, because it's easier to kill the monsters, and the rewards for the later levels are still pretty darn good due to the rarity of the item. That would be my guess, anyway. I believe that was 3. If you know what you're doing, Path of Exile isn't that difficult. But if you're a new player, yes, it's quite challenging. Also, you can check my profile in the description. I have still not figured out how to get a bot that actually works on YouTube. I've tried. It never works. It says it'll work. It's all set up, but it doesn't actually display anything. I'm pretty sure I missed an essence over here. Very important to not miss essences on the last one. Oh. Small pile of fusings. I'll pick that up. Wait, there we go. That was horrifyingly close to where I already was. We'll see if my inventory gets full here. Ow. Oh, he hurts. Please stop. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to go out and then back in after emptying a little bit. Yep, Path of Exile is a knowledge-based game, so the more you know, the easier it is. Which is why it's difficult as a new player. Unfortunately, Justin, whatever you linked, YouTube ate it. YouTube likes to eat links. Unfortunately, it even eats mine, and I've tried turning that off, but YouTube's like, no, scammers abuse links, so now nobody gets to have fun. You don't get to link things anymore. So, thanks. Thanks, scammers. Gotta love it.
Hello. You have...
This whole strategy is just about counting to 5. Wait, another forbidden tome? Money printing. If I remember correctly, those forbidden tomes are worth like a divine each. At least if you run them. Though I suppose you have to complete it, but still. Completing it shouldn't be that difficult. I know they've made it harder. It's still a low-level zone, though, and you can still just outgear it. Like, this character might and might not be able to do it, but if I was set up to properly blast tier 16s instead of blasting tier 6s, I'm sure I could do it no problem. I'd just have to get good and actually dodge. Wait, was that 4 or 5? I was not paying attention again. I'm doing this via the Essence Atlas memory. Einhar's memory of crystal prisons. Oh, never mind, that was everything.
Prepared. You have seen.
I would imagine if you have like 3 mil DPS, you can pretty comfortably start clearing Sanctum. Maybe you need 4 or 5 mil with the changes now, because they have rare monsters, but you never needed all that much damage. You just needed good relics. It's 2... 3... 4... If you have 79k DPS, that's about appropriate for tier 1 maps, or maybe just a little bit below. My profile's in the description. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. Ow. Then you definitely don't have 79k DPS, Jonas. What tier should you farm at 1 mil? Of Forbidden Sanctums? Or something else? Oh, did I say Nico by mistake? Whoops. Alright, fixed. Oh, tooltip means nothing, though. The tooltip will tell you it's a Wednesday when it's actually a Friday. I mean, depending on what you mean by a mil DPS, you can farm up to tier 16s on that. Map rarity does not help with essences, no. Map rarity means map modifiers, and map modifiers make the essence fights more difficult, but there's no actual benefit to it. It won't increase the rewards, it won't make higher tier essences drop, none of that. Just makes it harder. Correct. Tier does not matter. It's 3 out of 5. Oh, that's a disappointing one. Also a little bit of a disappointing one. Oh well. All right, now while the skeletons are fighting over there, I'm gonna just dip out here. Should have room in my inventory. We'll see. You know what? Yeah. Or at least low tier, because sometimes you want a good layout such as beach, in which case it's better to start on a tier 2 than a tier 1. That's purely the layout is better thing, not that there's a benefit to doing that. In terms of a tier. Oh, he's still nuking me. Please stop nuking me. I'm the dot build. Thank you. I don't know why I went that way, but I shouldn't have. In some memories it would matter. In this specific memory, it doesn't. I don't know the current price of a memory. You'll have to check that. English only, please. I'm guessing you asked something to do with divine orbs, but I don't really know what. How many divines per hour? When I last checked, I was getting around 17 divines an hour, but a lot has changed since. So I don't 100% know. A, I'm going slower because I'm on stream. B, the price of the memories have gone up. And C, the price of essences have likely changed. So somewhere between 17 divines an hour and probably a little bit less. I don't think it would go up at the moment. As for, is this a good starter? Yes, this is a good starter. It is Cold Dot Elementalist. Frostblades does tend to be rippy. And once you get your defenses established, or if you just go full glass cannon and freeze stuff, then it is quite good. It does get a lot of damage, but it's on the rippier side of League starters. I do sell them in bulk, although I'm not going to use TFT to do it. Because realistically, I'm probably not going to sell these. I'm going to craft with them and sell a very few specific ones that I don't want to use for crafting. Oh, I was not looking at my screen. That was a little bit unfortunate. And thank you for the translation, Riley. Unfortunately, it's a little bit hard to stop to type while mapping. It's one thing Path of Exile's not great at. Yes, it is very easy to print currency if you know a little bit about crafting, which is why I'm very curious how much I'll make. No, I shouldn't stand in the puddles. Puddles are bad. Don't stand in puddles, by the way. How has Cold Dot been for Sanctum? Haven't done it. No idea. I would imagine not good at my current state of gearing. Because at my current state of gearing, I'm really not made for anything remotely challenging. But if I fix my gear, not bad, since I can use things like Cold Snap to deal with enemies at range, and I should be able to invest into more mobility later. I still wouldn't say Cold Snap or Cold Dot is the ideal build for Sanctum running. Far from it. But it's not bad. It's probably like average. How's it going? What did you end up League starting? Or are you not playing at the moment? I believe that was 5, right? Yeah, that was definitely 5 with that pathing. I'm still at 0 watchstones because the Atlas doesn't matter for what I'm doing. Actually, it's detrimental to have watchstones in for what I'm doing. Lightning Arrow is surprisingly popular this league. So. An experience. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. What was the experience, Shotokan? Get a couple more remnants of corruption. I dropped a divine in early maps, and then I got another divine from, whatchamacallit, Trial of the Ancestors. Those have been my only raw divine drops. But who needs raw divine drops? And you can just print them. Divine printer, go burr. Ooh. That's rough. Being 2 days behind sucks. That's specific to the memory. You don't make essence monsters unique. I'm probably pretty close to that, Crawford. I guess I technically did have the 2 raw divines, but realistically, pretty darn close to 70. This is not an Atlas tree. This is off the Atlas. So no Atlas tree for this strategy. Ugh. Yeah, I don't envy group starts. There's always a lot of stuff to worry about. I'm sure I'd be a terrible group member because people would be like, wait, where's 10? And I'll be like, I'm making a video, guys. See you in 5 hours. And we're like, but it's day 2. What are you doing? Me, my job. All right, time to go stream and ruin my own money-making strat. I do not have a POB now. You can import my character from my profile that's down in the description, but I haven't worried about optimizing my gear to the point where I've looked at POB yet. There's a lot I still need to do. This character is very, very, very scuffed. So it's a little complicated to know when to corrupt it or not, but I have a full explanation in my general essence farming guide that's in the pinned comment. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Renato. If you mean using Harvest to reroll cheaper essences into more expensive ones, that kind of comes down to the economy at the time, but in general, I would advise doing that. You can't upgrade memories. Memories drop, and that's what you get. I should not have tried to corrupt that one. That was a misclick, or a misread, actually. Well, I don't like this part of the layout. All right, have a good dinner. Yeah, that part of a layout was completely a waste of time. That's what I was worried about. question, Ludwig. There are two other very popular mechanics that don't care at all, or mostly don't care at all, about map tier. One of them's Harbinger. That doesn't care at all. And the other one is Bestiary, which it technically cares, but not to a significant degree. There are a couple of beasts, like the Cat Beast for Feral Gear, which does care. The most valuable beasts, however, the Spiders and the Frogs, which is Phenumal Plague Arachnid and Krakic Camaro, only require like tier 1 maps, I'm pretty sure. So you can get a majority of the rewards, and actually you have a smaller pool of rare beasts, which increases your reward on average for doing lower tier content. Not necessarily just tier 1, there are a few other breakpoints you can use, and you will miss out on some higher value beasts like Krakic Vassals, but overall, quite good. Yes, Ferric Tiger Alpha. Yeah, I'm also very confused about the memory reroll thing. So, memories are unmodifiable.
Greetings, survivor. You have
That's the thing, Adrian. I should do whatever I want because this is my stream. But you're free to do that in your own stream if you want. It's 2 out of 5. The best way to get the memory, especially in bulk, is to purchase it. You cannot really count on dropping these. They're quite rare. Like, for all my gameplay so far, I've dropped 1 Atlas memory, and it wasn't this one. There is no craft to reroll memories. You can't modify memories at all. Oh, congratulations! I haven't done extensive testing for this in terms of hardcore, but I'm pretty sure if you want really easy EXP, you can get guaranteed EXP from Trial of the Ancestors, and you can't actually die. The Atlas passive tree does not matter. There is no Atlas passive tree for this. Yeah, rerolling essences can work, and that's just a question about the market, which a few days ago, it wasn't really worth it. I don't know if it's worth it now. Okay, no worries, Adrian, but you did come off as a bit demanding, and I would say be careful of tone with stuff like that, because especially as a streamer, a lot of people like to backseat and tell you what to do. My general response to that is sarcasm, because in most cases, if I'm doing something or not doing something, it's intentional. Either it's intentional because it makes for a better viewing experience, or it's intentional just because it's my own personal preference.
hello. You have seen.
And I'm quite unlikely to change what I'm doing just because of a chat request, and certainly not when it comes off as demanding. Realistically, yes, I could read out every message, but most people are going to be seeing the chat. And not only does that take my attention away from the game more, when for my stream I do like to highlight the gameplay front and center, that's why I don't use a webcam, but also it just gets very exhausting on my voice, which would limit the amount of time in a day that I could stream. So to do longer streams, I tend to lower the amount of talking. I tend, when I have this many essences, to sell them on the market, because if you have significant bulk, you get a lot more currency than you would through TFT. But if I only had a couple of divines and essences, I would sell through TFT instead. Because that way you get your divines and you don't have to worry about it. Oh, congratulations on the Headhunter drop. What are you going to do with it? Or are you going to sell it and fund the rest of your build? I think I'm at 3. I've done a very poor job of tracking this time. So if there are essences that no one wants to buy and they're inexpensive, that's where Harvest comes in, where you're able to re-roll the essence into something else that someone's more likely to purchase. Now, whether or not that's economical to do really all depends. At the scale I'm operating, it would be significantly expensive to do so. And so I really have to look into that. Again, it really all depends on how many essences you have. Because I've been farming a lot of essences. I can show my essence tab after this. I just have to find the last one, because, yeah, there's supposed to be 5 here, and I'd only done 4. Maybe double corrupt? No, not double corrupt. There we go. Easy money. Both envy and loathing are quite expensive. I shouldn't stand in all the little lightning zappies. Lightning zappies hurt. In general, when it comes to selling essences, having bulk listings is kind of a superpower. Because the richest players are often crafters, and a rich crafter isn't going to care if they pay 1 chaos extra per essence. They're doubling or tripling their money. So, when I sell 142 Shrieking Essences, even if Loathing wasn't popular, I guess another example would be Spite. Even if Spite isn't that popular, I'm selling 152 of them. So if someone's using them, they're very likely to buy from me. You get all Atlas memories as a random drop, which means if you want to do what I'm doing here, you basically have to buy them from other players. Good question, Pops. I believe, yes, map tier does indirectly affect Harvest Life Force, but I've never done enough testing to know for sure. I bought all these the other day. When I was buying them, I was using a live search. I'm sure doing that, because I bought around 30 of them, did impact the price to an extent, but my goal was to impact the price minimally. How many do I have left? Well, I have 1 in my inventory. I'm running 1 now, and I think I have 5, so approximately 6 left. What sort of content do you want to farm, Jaboja? Because what I would recommend re-rolling into is a build that's good at the content you want to farm. These monsters are not tough, no, because I'm running low-tier maps without any modifiers. I wouldn't particularly advise jumping straight to Tornado Shot. This early in the league, it's going to be hard to get a comfortable Tornado Shot setup, even with a Headhunter and 25 Divines. If you want to do a lot of mapping, then I would probably go Lightning Arrow, yes. I got the currency by farming regular essences on my Atlas. This is softcore, and I paid an average of 95 chaos for them when I was buying. Yes, Dom, it is always worth it. And most of that was, if I'm remembering correctly, I bought most of these about 36 hours ago. Yes, I am, Joe. If you want to play Lightning Arrow, yes, I would follow the build on max roll. How much does my build cost? Not very much. I'm going to guess under 10 divines. I know I spent under 10 divines and I wasn't being particularly currency efficient when buying my upgrades. Though some of them I did get early, like the boots. I paid almost 3 divines for them. I think 2.5 actually. They're probably like half a divine now, or maybe 1 divine. If you want to know about how I decide on corruption, check my general essence farming guide in the pinned comment. That goes over it in detail. I'm playing a Cold Dot Elementalist. Toxic Rain Ballista is a pretty good general mapper because you have great recovery and good mobility. It's also a decent boss killer, provided that you have enough gear to set up all your ballistas and nuke the boss. Now, if you're undergeared, and especially if your ballista totem support is underleveled, it's a very poor bosser, because you're constantly having your ballista get killed and playing catch up and lose. Additionally, it's really good for things like Blight. It's decent for things like Metamorph. Again, anything you can set all your damage up, it tends to excel at. And anything where you can fire and forget, it tends to be pretty good. Where it would be pretty poor, though, is Legion. I would not use it for Legion. I'd also not use it for Delirium, because in Delirium, the totems just kind of get killed a lot. I've lost track of my count. Toxic Rain Ballista is not a particularly slow build. The mistake a lot of people make, I can kind of demonstrate here. So let's pretend I'm Toxic Rain Ballista. They'll go like this, like trying to kill packs by leaving the ballista and watching stuff die. Whereas what you should be doing is drop a ballista, leave. Drop a ballista, leave. Drop a ballista, leave. And then if you hear a ding, you go, oh, that's something good, and you circle back for the loot. When you do that, the build's clear speed goes way up. Obviously, it's still not as fast as something like Lightning Arrow. It's not the fastest clear in the game, but it's not slow either. It's average to above average. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of EA Ballista. Or at least not the Ignite version. I just hate the feeling of the double delayed damage. Yes, you should do the same thing on Explosive Arrow as well. And realistically, you should do that on all Ballista builds. I can't really put my finger on why Explosive Arrow Ignite Ballista feels awkward to me in ways that Toxic Rain doesn't, but it definitely does feel more awkward to me. I think it's probably specific to Elementalist there, where Toxic Rain I'm comparing against other builds on those ascendancies, and Explosive Arrow Ignite I'm comparing to something like Wave of Conviction Ignite. Self-attack Toxic Rain has not been in a good spot for a while. Unfortunately, bow builds are very reliant on ballista support, much in the same way that melee builds are reliant on ancestor totems. And quite often, if you don't have those or don't heavily leverage them, your build will feel bad. See, screaming. Okay, that's not a good one. What I always used on Toxic Rain, and I know this setup's probably a little bit unpopular these days, I would use Caustic Arrow, Arrow Nova, or Vol Caustic Arrow, Arrow Nova for my clear skill, and then use Ballista just for the single target. Oh, I found your problem. You're playing a hardcore build in softcore. About 22 divines for all the memories. I mean, you say your kingdom for a second 6-link on claw builds, but it's not nearly a kingdom that it costs. It's probably only about 80 divines. Wait, where'd the other guy go? Oh, he's over here. Doesn't use the Atlas. It's called the Squire Ilya. Any one-handed weapon can be a 6-link. Yep. Yep, exactly. I'm gonna go down and left first. I just have a feeling about this. Probably wrong. That's an effect of a memory. It's also the effect of a passive on the Atlas. Basically, the memory kind of sort of works as if you had all the Atlas passives allocated, except for the ones that give an extra chance for essences or essence monsters. It doubles whenever there is a shrieking essence present. So this will double because there are shrieking essences present. Also, I misread that. I thought there was one more shrieking. Whoops. I really wish that screaming and shrieking were different, just because it would be way easier at a glance to be able to just look at DWS or a different letter to determine when to upgrade and when not to. Imagine if screaming was calling. Then you could just look W, C, S, or D and only pay attention to the first letter and always know.
You have seen.
After this memory, I'll have run 10 on stream. So what I'll be doing is checking how much my essence tab has gone up in value. It's going good. Farming some essences, making some money. Essence printer go burr. All the usual stuff. Step 1. Go to maxroll.gg. Step 2. Look at our bulk selling guide. Read what it has to say. Follow it. Profit. I do not have a strategy for this yet. This is the tail end of my testing for the strategy. The video will come out. I mean, I'd say assuming it's successful, but I'm pretty far into this to the point where I can say it's successful. So the video will come out soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not.
Great. You have seen.
Hopefully tomorrow. If you like seeing lots of loot explosions, this is always a very fun thing to do. I guess this would be called an American accent, but I don't have a particular accent within America. And thank you. I always try to speak clearly because I know a lot of people who watch my content don't necessarily speak English as their primary language. How's it going, Lotador? How did your league start go? Hopefully you haven't re-rolled. Yes, I do like the league so far. Though I should probably play more of it and a little less of low maps and just farming essences. I know some people say, oh, they're stuck in the low map essence prison. No, I'm not in prison here. I live here. This is my house. Yeah, I have room in my inventory to do one more. I've done a bit of Trial of the Ancestors. It's pretty fun so far. Non-Southern American. I guess that works. Although, it depends on where you are in the country. I'm sure other people from other parts of the US that aren't specifically Southern would say, oh no, you have a this kind of accent or that kind of accent. Oh, essence hunting has been super profitable for me. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Riley, because I am actually from the East Coast of the US. The thing is that East Coast US and West Coast US sound pretty much identical from my experience. And then the middle sounds different. And the South sounds different. But if you're talking about Northeast versus Northwest, I personally can't tell the difference. However, defenses, perfectly sufficient for tier 6 maps. I have mostly cap suppression, I have cap resistances, and I have a little bit of Fizz Taken As. Now I'm going to keep the quest tracker on, because otherwise I will legitimately forget about those quests later. Wait, are you saying that I sound French, Devil? I know a little bit of French. Enough that I can read and understand quite a bit. but not everything, and not enough that I would feel comfortable holding a conversation beyond very, very basic questions about directions. Yeah. It's funny, though, because if you talk to people from the Northeast versus Northwest, overall, at least to me, always sounds the same. Wait, you rerolled twice? Oh, god damn it, Loaded Whore. Stick to a build. Is that French-Canadian stream someone I would know? Out of random curiosity. Guess I don't get to corrupt this one, but that's okay. You have a very weird way of phrasing some things, Devil. Should probably not lean into those stereotypes. Ow. This is what I mean by the defenses are mostly okay, but not great. It's 3. Ooh, this is a perfect one to corrupt. Didn't upgrade, though, sadly. You can die in Sanctum. However, you are more likely to run out of resolve and fail the Sanctum than you are to die. So it's not a complete softcore mechanic. There are things that do damage, but most of the things will impact your resolve more than your health. You say that, Devil, but I've talked to other Eastern Europeans who definitely don't talk like that. Both Fire Trap and Wave of Conviction are super respectable builds. It's funny you say that because someone else I know who's Eastern European is one of the most reserved and quiet people that I know. I'm trying to remember if I've ever heard him swear. I don't think so. Poland Eastern, which is pretty darn Eastern. Righteous Fire can absolutely farm essences. That's what I did last league. Einhar's Memory of Crystal Prisons. See, from a US perspective, middle would be more like Germany. And then in the north, you get into places like Finland. But that's just a US perspective. Oh. As a note, looking at the screen is not optional. Yeah, there's a lot of people in America who originally came from the Kyiv area. You do not need any points. This is a strategy that ignores your atlas. You use a memory, you apply it to a map, and then you follow the chain. The maps have their own effects based on the memories. It ignores your atlas. And you go through. In this case, you do not alch them because alching would increase the difficulty without modifying the rewards. Also, I've gotten the is this an atlas strategy so much that I'm changing the pinned comment to just be like, this is not an atlas strategy because I'm tired of answering it. Okay. Let's fix this here. There we go. And now I just have to pin it. There we go. I've lost count of how many essences I've done, but I think it's 1 or 2 more. Yeah, that makes sense. In the US, the way French accents are seen is either A, French Canadian, or B, Parisian French. But I'm sure depending on your region, there's a lot of distinction there. Let's do something fun after this. Let's take a look at how much I've made off of the last 10 of these. So that was 5, right? Pretty sure that was 5. Gonna put all these in my stash, then hop back into the map just to reset the zone. And we'll see how much profit I've gotten from 10 of these memories. This is just going to be a rough estimation. It's not going to be super perfect. I did a little big boom expedition, but not a lot. But let's do this. Okay. So here we have everything that I was getting before. This is before today's stream. My Essence tab was worth around 6.7k chaos, or roughly 45 divines. All right? That's before. Now I'm going to refresh the tab. This is 10 Atlas memories, so 1,200 chaos in cost. And I now have 10,400. Or 70 divines. So I gained 25 divines. And 1,200 cost me about 8. So I gained about 17 divines. And that's in around 2 hours of farming, which isn't necessarily as good as it was. That's about half as efficient as it was when I first started doing this because some essence prices were insane. However, this should be noted, this is just an estimation. And when I was getting 17 divines in an hour, that was actual profit after selling the essences, counting the bulk prices that are going to be higher than this. So this is likely a low estimate of the value. But yes, 17 divines-ish in profit from 2 hours. And again, that's not counting bulk. Just to do a little bit of an experiment here, let's just say the Essence of Horror, they're listed right now at 15C each. So if I come over to the trade site here, I put in Divine Orb, Essence of Horror, minimum 20. So you can get 10, which means it's right about on par. So you don't get extra money by bulking these up. But let's go with something else that maybe you will. Deafening Essence of Envy. So Deafening Essence of Envy are listed as 4C each. So they should be about 37 to a divine if that price holds in bulk. And what do you know? It's more like 29 to a divine. So instead of these Deafening Essences being 180C, what you can do is 150 divided by 29 times 45. This is 232C. Which is a good bump more. That's about 30% more profit than this is displaying. Now, if that were true for everything, I don't think it is. I think it'll roughly be about 15 to 20% more. So let's estimate 20. This is like 84 divines right now. And that's the advantage of bulk selling stuff. If you're selling 1 divines in essences and no one is buying, what I would recommend is going to the bulk want to buy entire tab and selling it that way, because 1 divine is a relatively small amount of essences. All right, and so now I'm going to turn the window capture off and run the last 5 memories. So if I assume the 30% higher number, 25 times, or sorry, 20% higher. That's actually 30 divines, not 25. If I cancel out the 8 that it cost, that's 22 or 11 divines an hour. I would not expect the 17 divine an hour number that I got when I first tested this to be accurate, because that was a few days earlier in the league. And a few days earlier, my costs were much lower and the margin on some essences was actually insane. Because I was able to sell off like these, Wrath, or like 6, 7C each. But I don't 100% know where all the prices will settle. Yeah, that's just a quick overview, quick and dirty of my tab with everything that's in it right now. I'll have to actually properly price check everything later. And the proper price checking will be in the video. This is just going to be the quick and dirty, roughly what I think. My Scourge Arrow build is still viable for 322. At this point, though, I wouldn't really use my setup for bossing. I would only really use it for mapping. That's where that setup ended up being excellent. On bossing, you could do it, but it wasn't particularly great. I would have to price check the essences to know if it's better to upgrade them or not. In a lot of cases, yes, it is. But in some cases, no. So that's the thing. When you are selling on TFT, it is not about finding a fair price. It is about selling as quickly as possible. If you want the fairest possible price, then you should sell yourself. But if you just need money now to invest into your build or to farm more currency later, you sell via TFT for the convenience. TFT is a tool of convenience, not of min-maxing your currency. Because remember, the person buying your essences plans to resell them. They need to make a profit as well. So they're going to be buying at prices that are profitable for them.
Just in time.
I mean, again, if you need the money right now because you can turn the money from those essences into more currency later, then you don't have to worry about what you're losing. You just have to worry about what you can turn that money into. Like for the first few essences I farmed, I sold 3 or 4 divines in essences on TFT. It was not the most currency at all. I lost quite a bit. Also, I shouldn't have corrupted that. But I used that to buy Atlas memories. And I turned 4 divines into over 20. Very, very quickly. It just took a couple hours of buying the memories, then selling the essences manually and buying more memories. I think it took 3 hours total, though I'd have to check my notes on that part. Oh, you should absolutely never level with the Poison Scourge Arrow setup that I used. Do not level with that. Quantity and rarity don't work on essences because they're not drops, they're rewards. Yeah, exactly, Cathal. And in that case, I don't really care about what the cut is. All I care about is I have 4 divines and I can turn those 4 divines into 30 very rapidly as a result. Now, if I had another strategy to get those 4 divines, like let's just say I did heisting, that's another really easy way to get 4 divines. I wouldn't worry about bulk selling on TFT at all. Yes, it's very possible. I've been doing it this entire stream. Hey, Krendor, welcome back. And congratulations on the unique upgrade to your map. If you also want a unique map icon whenever you're in chat, you too can become a channel member and help make streams just like this one possible. Yeah, it's an average of something like 60 essences per map, and each map only takes a couple minutes. So if you can do 10 maps in an hour, that's 600 essences. If you can do 20 maps in an hour, that's 1,200 essences on average. If you can do 30 maps in an hour, which is definitely doable, that's 1,800. Though I'm definitely not at that speed while streaming. I'm probably closer to the 1,200 per hour. Because I'm reading chat, I'm slightly distracted, I'm misreading layouts sometimes. All the little things that slow you down by just enough. Yep, this is the memory. And fun fact about channel membership, if you even become a lowest tier member, I get more money from that than if you watched every single ad on every video that I've ever made. It does not matter what map tier you do. The only drops that would be better are from the maps themselves, not the essences. And the downside about the maps themselves is you're not really incentivized to full clear the map. And you don't really want to add modifiers because of... I guess the line isn't here, but there's a line that says increased modifiers on maps, which is very, very spooky. It's like doing a wandering path setup with the top of a tree. And because it's not on your atlas, you don't gain all the benefits. I don't remember the exact number, Devil, but yeah, it's very, very low. Especially if you're a pure content creator, you do not make a killing off of AdSense. Like, if YouTube AdSense was my only income, I think every video that I make would have to get 100,000 views or more for it to be a decent income on its own. Einhar's memory. I've said that plenty of times, Cathal. I've been saying it all stream, even. But there's also a point where you have to let people make their own decisions. Because there are cases where taking it into high-tier maps is worth doing. They're pretty niche, but there is a point that it's absolutely worth it. Yes, Crystal Prison. And so if I say that, and 3 months later, when it's actually worth doing in tier 16s, someone watches this video and they're like, wait, why do I take my Mage Blood character with 2 mirrors and gear into tier 1 maps? The answer is you don't at that point. Because at that point, you're just nuking everything in tier 16s as fast and probably safer than I'm doing right now. And you will get a few additional drops over time from doing that. Yeah, but if you have a 2-mirror character, Omniphobia should live for a fraction of a second. Like, if I was farming this on my Poison Spark Pathfinder, I'd absolutely do this in tier 16s and have 0 issues with it. The other thing to remember is you aren't adding map modifiers even then. You're raising the tier of a map, but you're still not alking it. The never part is the alking it. And when you raise the tier, yes, you increase the difficulty, but not by as much. And that's the thing about YouTube streams, Devil. This stays up. This is a stream VOD as soon as I hit end stream, and people can watch it. In fact, people probably will watch it. So I always try to keep in mind long-term stuff. Okay, Cathal, I didn't say day 4 or 5 of the league, though. I said someone watching this in the future with a Mage Blood and 2 mirrors worth of gear. They could be watching it 2 weeks from now or 2 years from now. For all I know, this strategy will remain valid and unchanged for 2 years. And in that case, it's absolutely valid to do it in tier 16s. You just shouldn't do it until the time you take and the difficulty you encounter is no different between a tier 16 and a tier 6. So that's the interesting thing, Devil. If we're looking at views, most of my streams do not do as well as normal videos. However, and this is a little bit of a behind the scenes or a secret of how YouTube works. Most of your AdSense payments do not come from raw views. They come from watch time, especially when you're doing content that has mid-roll ads, i.e. anything that's over 8 minutes. So while a stream might have less views than a video, I've had streams with 20,000 views that pay significantly more than a video with 100,000. Because people watch that video with 100,000 views for an average of, let's just say, 5 minutes. And they watch the stream for an average of 45. Which means even at lower views, streams can be very, very profitable. And oftentimes it takes me a lot less effort to put on a stream like this than it does to make a video. A video might be a couple hours of setup and then a couple hours of scripting, a couple hours, let's say an hour of recording, and then editing. And even then, we're looking at a 4 to 6 hour total time frame for a lot of my videos. For a stream, I spent, I don't know, an hour yesterday or the day before while video editing, buying most of this stuff. And now I'm just running it on stream. It's going to be like 3 hours of work. So I have been selling the essences thus far because my goal was to get seed currency. But with these, I'm probably not going to sell them, and instead I'm going to craft with them. Mostly because I think it's more fun, and it'll be interesting to see if you have almost 100 divines in essences, what that becomes. Okay, Cathal, you can just take a break. Because at the moment, you're not being particularly constructive. You're intentionally misrepresenting everything I say. If you want to be a little bit more receptive to what I'm saying when you come back, then you're welcome to stay. And if not, I suggest you don't return. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure on the rules around multi-boxing Zombie Jesus, but I believe you are allowed to have 2 accounts. And I know a lot of people use their second account for things like trading. However, you're not allowed to automate the second account. So if you put one account like just in your hideout and use it for trading while you're mapping on your other character, or you put it in your map to get extra drops from beasts, that's totally fine. But if you have it automatically follow your character, that wouldn't be allowed. That said, I'm not an expert on multi-boxing in Path of Exile. And if you want to know more, the best thing to do would actually be to email GGG customer service. They're usually really good about answering those questions. Why 2? That's a question for GGG. I don't know. Those are the rules. I'd say them's the rules. I just work here, but I don't work here. Yes, I do sell some to sustain the cost. And now that I have the big pile of all the essences, I want to craft with them.
Greeting, you have.
Yeah, so the following part is what would be problematic about that. I don't know any Abyss strategies at the moment. Oh, look! Another trash gremlin crawled out from under the bridge. Get him! Hammer time. Imagine defending someone who, instead of trying to engage in a, respectful manner and actually listen to the words I said, continually misrepresented my points using straw man fallacy just to try to be right. Imagine going on the internet just because, for whatever reason, you have to prove the streamer man wrong, and you can't acknowledge that there's nuance to things. Everything must be the worst possible extreme, to the point where you conflate me recommending that if someone has an extremely good character and they want to use a strategy later in a league, that's pretty much the same as driving a tank to work. And saying that it has to be done on day 1, despite me multiple times saying this wasn't day 1. Don't worry, you've been banned XYZ and you're not welcome back. Oh, that one didn't upgrade. That's unfortunate. Oh, don't worry. That's why I'm banning the trolls. I'm completely fine with giving the trolls a permanent ban. I just find it so funny that whenever I time someone out for being a troll, there's always a second troll buddy that comes out of a woodwork. I shouldn't have upgraded that. Whoops. How profitable right now? Off the last 10, I made roughly 17 divines in profit. So extremely. Though something to keep in mind, this is a very price volatile item. The Atlas memories go up and down in price a lot. So as a result of this stream, there's a decent chance that the price is going to be way higher. And then a couple days afterwards, the price may crash. That's the secret about streams, Devil. There's no such thing as free speech. In my stream, this is my house. And I welcome people into my house. But if you're, you know, taking a dump on the table, you're probably going to get kicked out pretty fast. Let's see what my friend linked me. Oh, damn. Yeah, that came out pretty good. That's a big win. I would look at the essence guide up in the pinned comment to know how to corrupt or when to corrupt. See, that's the thing. The way free speech works in terms of the internet is a little bit weird, because free speech is an American thing. And a lot of other countries have very different laws. But then this is my stream, so I set the rules. I could say that if someone says the word essence, they're banned. It would be a pretty unreasonable thing for me to do, but I'm free to be as unreasonable as I would like. But then ultimately, people can choose to watch me or not based on that. So what I try to do is tailor my content towards the people I want to attract. So if I feel like someone's being an asshole, I don't really want to tailor my content towards them. In fact, I don't want more of them. So what I tend to do is ban them, because then they go away. And I get people like you fine folks who are a joy to talk to. Yeah, free speech does not mean no consequences. That as well. And the other thing about free speech in terms of YouTube, I can't really stop someone from having their own stream with their own rules. Now, if their stream violates the community guidelines, YouTube can stop them, but I can't. And so if you disagree with what I'm saying, you're free to have your own stream with your own rules. This is my house. And you're only welcome if you're going to be a good guest. I'm probably not going to be trying Sanctum anytime soon. Not because I have a dislike of Sanctum, but just because I did it a lot in Sanctum League. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing next. Some remnants of corruption drop. You need way more than drop, though, so you definitely have to buy some of them. I believe that's 6 or 5. Yeah, welcome to my small abode here on the internet. Enjoy your stay. I do have a video for a live crafting demonstration that focused on Essence. It's not necessarily early league focused. However, overall, it's pretty good and will give you an idea. I also feel like, generally speaking, it's probably something I'd be down to do, but I don't know if I'll do it with this set of currency or not. I'll just have to see, well, quite literally, if I have time to do it or not. Oh, trust me, I've noticed, Devil, and there have been a couple times where I've been like, if you do that again, I'm going to time you out. As for making the build available, I would not copy this build unless you're going to do this specific farming strategy. Because there's a lot about my build that I have not fixed, because it doesn't matter for these maps. So right now the build is not in a very good general state. I wouldn't take this build into tier 16 maps, for example. But I would and have been taking it into tier 6s. It's very effective at those. Realistically, you don't need a specific build. Now, with that said, after I finish farming the essences, I'm going to sell them, and I'm going to use the money to fix my build. So once I fix my build, that's when I'll probably be sharing it, because that's when it'll be good for tier 16s and more generally applicable. In the past, I wasn't upgrading the essences because even the lower tier ones sold. I don't know what the market's like today, though. In general, early league, it's not worth upgrading over Shrieking, but you'll probably want to upgrade Wailing and Screaming. Yes, I'm starting it on good layouts like Strand. In my case, the reason that I want to be rich fairly early is so that I can use that wealth to start crafting, because crafting is what I enjoy, and doing big crafting projects requires money. But I would say being wealthy in Path of Exile is a personal decision. You don't need it. A lot of people do like chasing it. And I use the WoW filter because I like knowing an item's value at a glance. In general, you get more money than you think when you're farming, even if it's only random Alch and Go. You might get 2 chaos in raw chaos, but a lot of the other stuff you pick up does contribute to your total wealth. I don't usually do mirror gear. I tend to stop 1 or 2 steps short of mirror gear, because what I like doing more is making a bunch of different items and netting a profit, crafting my upgrade by selling the failures. When you go into mirror gear, it's more of a money sink, which I don't tend to enjoy as much. Oh, this is just one of the builds that's very easy to league start, so I picked it. It's not that I have any specific preference to Vortex over other skills. It's just a good way to do passive damage early league so I can run around. As for Alks, personally, I haven't had any issues sustaining Alks, but I don't know about other people. Then again, if you don't use Alks, it's kind of hard to have trouble sustaining them. When it comes to league starters, I quite often don't have a strong preference in regard to the build. It's much more about this works and it's easy. If you don't know the value of items, D-Chamber, that's a very good way to learn. Because the economy will tell you pretty quickly when you significantly underprice something. And if you overprice it, then it just won't sell for a little bit. I would not use the Essence Sextant, no. In many cases, it's actually detrimental to do so. You're better off buying remnants than trying to sustain them. You do not have to kill the map boss. The only reason I do on this specific map is the exiles themselves are quite dangerous. I forget if I got all 5 here. Been paying too much attention with the chat. Too little attention with the maps. I'm an elementalist. I play a lot of Ignite builds, but that's just because Ignite builds are easy damage scaling right now. There's a time when I didn't play Ignite builds at all because they weren't very strong. It comes and goes. Basically, the stronger a build is, the more likely I am to play it. And the weaker a build is, the less likely I am to play it. Yeah, essences are a very good profit early league, especially the memories. And I just realized I need to buy a few more remnants. Actually, do I? Or do I have more in my tab? I do not have more in my tab. All right. Time to buy a few remnants. I'm not going to be playing MBX's Arc Ignite Archmage, no, because I played way too much of Arc in the past, and I got sick of the skill. If anyone remembers Arc Mines or Arc Poet's Pen or Arc literally everything, that is the last time that I played. I will be looking to bulk unload very specific essences. However, you're probably not going to like my prices, Jay. Because I guarantee you I'm going to be selling the bulk essences at a price where, unless you are using them to craft, you are not going to be profiting. Yeah, Arc Totem as well. It was pretty much Arc everything. I have a tab affinity for essences. So any essence that I put into any tab automatically goes to the essence tab. That's 3. Oh, double corrupted. Hysteria Horror. Nice. Sadly, it didn't duplicate, though. That's unfortunate. I don't think you could do this without an essence tab. At least not at the scale I'm doing it at. Last mana stacking build I did, what was it? The last mana stacking build I played was probably mana stacking Bladefall Blade Blast, which was, I'd like to say, Ultimatum League. Spellslinger, it's not great. It's good if what you need is map clear, and it has pretty poor single target damage. So I'm pretty sure I did all 5. Wait, I can check right now. Yes, that looks like 5.
Hello. You have
I wonder how many essences I have in total. That'll be a fun thing after I've done all the maps. We'll see how many essences there are in total. And just for fun, I might even have chat try to guess. Well, it's just a silver coin. I don't need that. It's 2. I think the last time I used Spellslinger was when I just wanted a super speedy map clear with Chaos Slinger. Yes, that's correct, Strats. Yes, Chaos Slinger was a thing last time I played it, so that should tell you how long ago it was. Oh no, I did Cold Slinger last. That's right. I'm glad you like the beginner crafting guide. Beginner guides are always really hard for me to make, because I can never anticipate what questions a beginner will have. Unfortunately, even when I start playing a game these days, I'm really not a beginner because I've played so many other games. Oh, it would, but I'd just misclick him more, Gad. That's a problem. So my single target is not particularly good. The reason that my single target looks good is I'm in very low tier maps.
Hello, you have seen.
Like, this is what I'm running. And this is why my single target looks amazing. A lot of people have asked me about my build, and I feel a little bad because my build is not in a good state. It is very scuffed. But very scuffed is all I've needed. So instead, I put all my money into the memories and farming more essences. And also increasing my speed a little bit. Realistically, I probably should have had a death rush instead of one of my other rings too. But I didn't feel like dealing with the resist burden of that. How much? You'll have to check for yourself. The price has changed a lot even over the course of this stream. EK Blade Blast with the support. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, Hex Blast is a weird one. It's Einhar's Memory of Crystal Prison. All right, so 40 minutes ago, 115 chaos. They are decently expensive indeed. But averaged over the course of a bunch of them, they've been very profitable for me. I'll probably do a little bit of a snapshot of that after I finish these last 5 as a way to wrap up the stream. I don't think I'll get into the selling stuff yet because I haven't decided what I actually want to craft and what I want to sell. I'm definitely going to be crafting with some of the essences. No, that was already 5, wasn't it? I have not had noticeably lower FPS in town or hub areas. I also don't pay particularly close attention to my FPS. Five maps per, 5 essence monsters per map.
Hello,
With an average of 6 essences per monster. Although 6 essences per monster isn't quite true because that's before the duplication effect. So it's really kind of sort of more like 11 per monster. I'm going to say 11 per monster. Which if that's the case, it's 55 per map. And so about 255 per memory. And yeah, you get a couple special essences. You get some deafening upgrades. It gets a little bit complicated, which is why I think it's better to look at numbers in aggregate. Which I'll be able to do in just a minute. Well, maybe not just a minute, just a few minutes. That was 4, right? Pretty sure that was 4. No way to farm memories. At least not as of a recording of this. No, I'm just not going to stand in that for a second. Yeah, and I don't know if all the essences are 0.5. I would expect the Wailing aren't. I think Screaming Plus are. We'll see. There's no benefit to doing tier 16 maps now. Now, if your build is so strong that you genuinely do not notice the difference, like you've got 2-3 mirrors of investment, it's a late league setup and all that, yes, you'd want to do it in tier 16s just because of things like a Mageblade could drop on the floor in a tier 16 map and it can't in tier 1. But if there's any question of, will my build be able to handle this? Will I potentially die? Will I spend extra time killing? Then you should not increase your map tier at all. I should not have corrupted that. I'm yet again not paying proper attention. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I farmed for 3 hours off stream and about to be 3 hours on stream. So this will be a nice 6 hours worth of farming that I can kind of aggregate. Oh, neat. I didn't know there was a Little Nightmare 3 coming. Off stream, I was doing around 6 per hour, actually. And on stream, I've been averaging 5. Because on stream, I'm a little bit more distracted. Yep, they're free fireworks. Just like the time when you could pay to win in Path of Exile. There's the deafening upgrade we were looking for. Okay, my health will drain a bit, but that's fine. You really want Chaos Res for this. I like the League mechanic. It's very different from regular Path of Exile, which makes it really refreshing and fun. This reminds me, I really need to transmute exactly 1 beach. Because I don't have Atlas completion for it, and I should really get Atlas completion after running it 37 times? There we go. I saw Young Yaz's video on that, and all I'm going to say on it, Devil, is, can Twitter please just stop being Twitter for a day? I don't think it's fair to characterize that whole thing as a former Blizzard dev. I think that's just a guy on Twitter doing guy on Twitter things. As for, is it possible to copy my item filter? I don't think this one's publicly available, nor would I ever recommend that someone copy it. Because the problem with copying my item filter is, I will turn stuff on and off randomly based on what I am farming. And in the past, I did make them available, and I got a lot of complaints when people were like, you hid fusing orbs. I didn't get to 6-link any of my items all League because you turned fusings off. And so now I just don't share them because I don't want to deal with those levels of complaints. The Twitter rebrand is stupid. I'm still going to keep calling it Twitter. Mirror server, one thing I don't hide, but I do hide a lot of other stuff. Someone who was doing Nemesis 4 farming, where fusings were not worth my time to pick up at that point. Wait, that wasn't enough. God damn it, one short. I'll admit, I don't watch a ton of Young Ya's content anymore, so I can't really comment on it. Occasionally, though, YouTube will recommend really like viral stuff, and I end up watching it. Usually, if I want gaming news, I'll either follow Alana Pierce or Bellular, as I really like a lot of their takes in both cases. That's not like me trying to say, oh, I don't like Young Ya, he's bad. None of that. Like, it's just not the presentation that I prefer when looking at news stories. I'm running the Einhar memory of Crystal Prisons, and the memories themselves provide the maps, so I don't have to buy them. Yes, Bellular is really level-headed, and that's why I like his perspective. What I really like about the things that Alana Pierce says is not only does she have a lot of experience in games journalism, but she also has experience in the gaming industry actually working on titles, and that changes a lot. I've seen her talk about things where I would never have thought about it from that perspective because I'm always looking from the outside in as a player. I'm going to get rid of this little notification here. This is just my super scuffed early league tree. I'll probably respec it before I do anything with it. I've played in parties a little bit. Realistically, though, I don't really enjoy party play in Path of Exile. I much prefer party play in games that are specifically designed around it, like MMOs. I don't think you've seen many of Bellular's videos then, Zombie, because he generally has not been a fan of what Blizzard's been doing lately. The difference is he always tries to approach it from a reasonable, balanced take, calling out the good and the bad. Because even with the situation around D4, there's a lot to dislike about D4, and there's also a lot to like. Like, if you look at the critic score, it's about an 88. And people might be saying, wait a minute, how does D4 have a critic score of 88? Well, because most of the critics probably played for about 100 hours. And when you look at the initial experience, it's pretty good. It feels like a modern cinematic AAA game. Unfortunately, with the seasonal update, they've definitely made a lot of things feel much worse, especially as you keep playing. But there are parts to like, and I think it's totally fair that some people still like Diablo 4. I forget what was happening in 2019, but I do know there was a point where he was very critical of Blizzard. I think that was 2020-ish. Oh, Blizzard is very relevant still. Blizzard is relevant because they are one of the largest companies in the space. I didn't see that devil. Overwatch is just a weird situation to me. Like, that should have been a free win. Overwatch 2 should have been a free win for Blizzard, and they've somehow turned it into a controversy. I don't understand. I'm sure the intent was for buying heroes in Overwatch to feel like buying champions in League. But in practice, oh look. Oh, God damn it, I clicked the portal. Free money. Yes, Blizzard is still a company even after being bought. They're a company in a very unfortunate situation. Because I guarantee you, there are a lot of people at Blizzard who went to work there specifically because they love the games. And now they're basically being told, no, don't make a good game. We need to monetize it in this way. And Overwatch 2 is a perfect example. That if you're looking at the actual people making the heroes, they wanted to do all the special hero abilities, get into the stories and all that. Because every time I've seen them talk about it, they're really passionate about the characters. Except then, up from the top, someone was told, hey, we need to make more money. You don't get to design the Overwatch PvE mode because we won't be able to monetize it properly. So now the Overwatch PvE mode goes away, and you have to rush to constantly design more stuff for the Battle Pass. And the monetization of Overwatch got in the way of Overwatch being a good game. I did watch that Diablo 4 gameplay video, and first of all, I think that that video should never have been made or released, and PR or whoever thought it was a good idea completely failed at reading the room on the game. But for the developers who actually participated, I don't blame them at all. Because imagine this for a second. Let's say your boss comes to you and says, we need to put on a presentation, and we think this presentation will make our product look better in the eyes of customers by humanizing our employees. Then your boss sits you down and has you do an aspect of your job that you're not particularly familiar with. Not only do they have you do it, they have you do it in front of hundreds of thousands to millions of people. Would you do well at that point? Because I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't. Most people would do just as badly as those devs did. Yeah, I feel really bad for them too, because it's not their fault and they're getting a lot of the blame. Now, should whoever decided that whole thing was a good idea be held accountable? Yes, because that video never should have been made and released. Again, the video was bad, but it's not the fault of the people in the video. Because, especially since my understanding of what they do on a day-to-day basis is they work with assets. They're the people that make your dungeons look pretty. They're not playing the game. They don't need to play the game. They don't need to be good at it. And just like how an artist might not know or be good at the game. Yeah, why did they put people in that position? Because that's 100% unfair to them. Yeah, but what does level designer mean? Because there's a level designer who makes the layouts, and there's a level designer who places assets within the layouts. And my understanding was they were responsible for placing assets within the layouts. Yep, I believe that is 5. And so it was a very unfair position to put them in. And it made them look really bad. So I don't know if the pathing is actually designed by them or someone else. Right. And again, I'm not 100% sure, but just from what some of the things they were saying sounded like, I don't think they're the people who are coming up with the overarching setup. They were the ones making it look good. At least that's what they were talking about. That's where you get into a lot of trouble with the nuance, because there's different people who work on design, and their job title also varies a lot. Where there's some level designers that are choosing, okay, this needs to be a good experience to run through, which Diablo 4 definitely failed at. And I think it failed because they tried to do too much. If Diablo 4 had 24 dungeons, we'd see significantly better design in each, because they'd have time to actually craft them and make it feel like a unique experience that's different. Lost Ark did a really good job of this. All the early game dungeons in Lost Ark felt distinctive. And to be fair, World of Warcraft also does a good job of this, but they released like 20 dungeons in expansion. D4 had 100 plus because, well, I don't really know. And yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged was, again, a terrible business decision. But I'm not going to blame the people who actually worked on it, because in a lot of cases, they wanted to do better. They wanted Warcraft 3 Reforged to be good, but when your boss says, you know, you need to do this, and you say, all right, I'll need a month, and they say you have a week, your options are, A, quit your job, lose your paycheck, and do something else, or B, do what you can. Yes, essentially, it was like them having the security guard explain surgery, which is, again, not good, but it's not the security guy's fault. And to be fair, especially most of the big content creators did not blame the women themselves, which is good. But even if we go to the opposite extreme, and let's just pretend we're in a theoretical universe where they were actually bad at their job. Ridiculing them doesn't fix that. What fixes that is teaching them how to do their job better. And is that the player's concern? No, not at all. That is Blizzard's concern. And if Blizzard's response to someone being bad at their job is to say, oh, we're going to put them in a horrible situation, let them get ridiculed, and then fire them as a fall guy, does that make the game better? Does that help the player? No, it doesn't. Because the other thing about game dev, and as I remember, a good few of my viewers are in the software space, so some of you can probably comment on this a little. Game dev does not pay particularly well. You see numbers like millions and billions, and most of that goes to the companies. The developers themselves tend to be underpaid. And so if you're a software engineer, you will make far more than as a game developer, which means most people who go into game dev do so because they're passionate. They do so because they love games and want to make games better. And think about that for a minute. What happens when an employee is willing to work for less because they're passionate about it? Unfortunately, a lot of companies take advantage of that, and they underpay people. Do I think that you should just accept all of this? No. And in fact, I've been working on a video which got kind of interrupted by League Start, where I talk about my thoughts on the whole Blizzard situation. It's going to go up on my second channel soon. Second channel is linked down in the description if you're interested. But the issue there is it's kind of become cool to hate on Blizzard. And don't get me wrong, that's a direct result of Blizzard kind of forming parasocial relationships with their deepest fans, and those parasocial relationships going poorly. Also, I should not have corrupted that. That was a kind of dumb move, but oh well. So I'm not saying Blizzard as a company doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying the individual employees don't deserve it. I kind of made a video about that recently, Ilya. Not quite that, but about how I think shorter games are more meaningful a lot of the time, and you shouldn't feel pressured to put filler into your games, or at the very least, I don't. It says page... One second. Let me try to fix that. I didn't know that was broken. Let me see if YouTube eats this link. And I'm going to put this in the description and see if that fixes it. Yeah, most games have a huge open world filled with nothing. And I specifically used Ubisoft as an example here because they're one of the pioneers. I also made a video to kind of balance my own criticism about how I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed Mirage because it's going to be a 25 to 30 hour experience. Chrono Trigger's an interesting one because, as I remember, you can spend 20 or 30 hours playing it, or you can spend close to 100. I shouldn't have upgraded that again. Whoops. The thing about Chrono Trigger is it doesn't make you feel, at least from what I remember, and I'm going to be honest with you, I should replay Chrono Trigger because it's been a long time. But it doesn't make you feel like it's constantly demanding your attention because you don't have a mini-map with a billion arrows and markers. Instead, what you had is a mini-map, or did you have a mini-map at all? No, I don't think you did. You just had a world, and you got to get lost in it. And so the extra content, while there was a lot of it, not only did it feel optional, but a lot of the time, you wouldn't do it on a single playthrough. I don't think the Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay looked bad. I mean, it looked pretty standard for Assassin's Creed, but the gameplay has never been my complaint with AC. Yeah, you had a world map, just not a mini-map. Yep. So, Origins was the last AC game that I played. And what really caused me to lose interest in the series was I had fun with the main story of Origins. And after playing it for, I'd like to say a good 40 hours, I beat the main story. I looked at my map and I felt, oh, that was pretty good. And I noticed that I only had about 40 or 50% map completion. It's because I'm not running essences in regular maps. I'm doing essences via the Einhar Atlas memory. Yeah, I never even played Origins, or sorry, not Origins, Odyssey. As a result of my experience with Origins, I bought Odyssey, so I guess congratulations, Ubisoft. You got my $5 or whatever, because I got it very on sale on Epic Games. And then I never even played it. And don't get me wrong, you can tell a long but meaningful story. Baldur's Gate 3, great example of this. Baldur's Gate 3 is long. 60 hours in, I don't think I was even at a halfway point. And I wasn't particularly going quickly. But it does a good job, and I've never felt like my playtime has dragged on, really, which is very impressive and rare. I liked Bayek's story, and I liked the way his story was tied into the fall of the Roman Empire stuff. That was all really well done, in my opinion. It's just all the side stuff that I didn't care about. Like, kill overpowered dude number 457 because he's on your map and you should get rid of that marker. Like, I don't care. Magic Find does not help with essences, no. So there's a lot of situations like that where I think a game's length has been detrimental. And it's a complicated sort of dynamic. Yeah, I think dynamic's the word I want to use here. Because players often ask, especially with the increased price of games, for longer gameplay. But it's also a game developer's job to protect a player from themselves, to make it so that it is inefficient to do something that is extremely unfun. And if that's the case, I kind of wonder, was it a mistake for companies like Ubisoft to cave to a player's demand of, if I'm paying $60, I need 120 hours or whatever, instead of saying, no, we're going to protect you from yourself and offer you a really good experience and allow that game to stand on its own based on that quality of experience. The best way to get Einhar memories is to buy them. But otherwise you don't get them. They're way too rare and random. I did like the Colosseum. I kind of only liked it, though, because there are a lot of "this is Sparta" moments where I could kick people into traps. Yeah, a short but fun game is way better than an unfun long game. And if a developer wants to make a long story, they absolutely should. What I don't like is when a game takes a short story and stretches it out, even if that's what a player is asking for. Yes, I know, it's a hot take. Fun over not fun. So I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, but from what I have heard about it, that's probably an example where, despite it being a very long game, it's got enough meaningful content that it feels fun and enjoyable the entire way through. Starfield's... that's an interesting one. Because we know there's going to be a lot of literal filler. And I almost don't hate it. I don't hate the concept of a huge, open, empty, dead world that modders can turn into their playground, so long as the game isn't constantly dragging at your attention to go into that content. So, if you can go through the main story of Starfield and have a good, meaningful experience over whatever length it is, and then there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that you don't have to engage with, I'm all for it. But if it feels like the game is constantly demanding your attention, then I'm against it. Outside of PoE, narrow it down by genre for me, because I'm really, really bad at picking favorites. And yes, unfortunately, games are often a business. And to an extent, I think they should be. Because I'm just going to use this YouTube channel as an example. There's a lot of videos that I'd love to make, like my Path of Learning series. The problem is, the Path of Learning series takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, and it doesn't get that many views. So if I spend a lot of time only making Path of Learning videos, I won't be able to pay my bills. And it's also why I upload as much as I do. Part of it's just I have a lot to say. And part of it is because if I don't, I won't be able to keep making videos in the long term. That's why I write for Maxwell. That's why I take on sponsorships. And that's why I have channel memberships. All ways to augment my income so that I can spend more of my time doing what I enjoy and what hopefully my audience enjoys, and less of what gets the most clicks or the most money. And I have to balance that. Because if I don't get to keep making videos. And just to catch up with chat for a little bit, essence strategy is to run the memories. If you want to know how I would do normal essences, check the guide in the pinned comment. But this is just going into low tier maps and running the memories over and over and farming literally thousands of essences. In terms of my favorite story-based RPG, Witcher 3, which interestingly enough is a long game. Despite me tending to like short RPGs over long ones, my favorite is a long one. Because Witcher 3 is just really good, especially the expansions. I'm going to be one corrupted essence short. Well, I don't feel like leaving my map to buy one just for one, so we'll be slightly suboptimal here. Yes. Einhar's Memory of Crystal Prisons. Because that way you get these super exiles with tons of essences. Why did they mangle the show so badly? Because money. Because that's what happens when you go too far into the money aspect. You have to balance it. Like, I'm going to be brutally transparent here. Yes, I do certain things on my YouTube channel to make money, because if I don't, I can't pay my bills. But my goal is always to get to a point where I don't have to think about money and I can just focus on making the best content possible. I'm not there yet, unfortunately. But I'm hoping to get there, I don't know, within a few years. We'll see. It's always the hard part, and if I had the answers as to how to make a full-time income from YouTube while just focusing on the things you like the most, I'd probably be rich enough that I wouldn't need to work again, because I'm sure a lot of people would love that. How does Witcher 3 rate versus Skyrim? I certainly preferred it a lot more, because Skyrim always felt very janky and not too immersive. If you like mods, Skyrim rates better. If you like following the developer's story and not worrying about mods, I would not wait. Well, maybe wait. Yeah, I'd weight the crafted aspect of Witcher 3 higher. I mean, if I hit a mill, that's a pretty high bar, especially in this niche. I might have to stop making Path of Exile videos if I want to hit a mill. Time to go into the self-help genre. Hit 1 million subscribers in a month. Note, I'm not doing that. Don't worry. That's just a joke. Okay, so this was what I had before. And I've done the last 5. So, wait, no, not that tab. This tab. Yeah. And certain videos are very good for short-term money, like my top 10 league starters. But long-term, that doesn't really help me. Now, I don't think it hurts the channel. I don't think that people go, oh, he made a top 10 league starters video. I hate his content now. But realistically, a week from now, no one's gonna be, you know, watching that video. They're gonna be like, I don't need a league starter. Which website, Krez? If you mean this one, this is the bulk TFT tool. So here we have 80.69 divines, or around 12,000 chaos. Let me double check my notes to see how many of these I actually bought, because I bought a lot of them. I bought 33 of them for 95 chaos each. So that's 3,135 chaos. I made around 8,900 chaos in profit, or about 60 divines in profit from this. However, that's before accounting for bulk values. I'm just going to really broadly estimate this. So, oh, wait, how do I do this again? I think I refresh this. Yes. So I'm going to just estimate 120%. So if you sell them in bulk on TFT, they aren't selling at 100%. However, as I go through and price check each one, I'm going to be getting more than 100%. I'm probably going to be getting, if I were to sell off all my essences right now, about 93 divines. Because I'm not going to just sell all of these on TFT. And let me just pull up this tab to give a short demonstration of what I mean. So let's just say deafening essences. I have 65 deafening essences of envy. So how many people have 60 plus deafening essences of envy? 4 people. 4 people have big bulk. I have a little less than some of these. These are for people buying all your essences on TFT, by the way. And their prices are 29 to 30. So let's lower it to, let's say 40. See if that changes much. So one person is underselling the market. Everyone else is selling around 30. Divines are 150. So 150 divided by 30 is 5 chaos each. meaning my 65 is 325 chaos. I guess this went up to 155, but whatever. I think that's just from the setting 120. Either way, for point of demonstration, this is about 2.2 divines based on that. By selling in bulk, I'm going to be getting more than the listed asking price. Let's just say Deafening Essence of Loathing. And sure, I only have 65. I can only sell for 2 divines worth, but I also have a lot of other essences that I can upgrade. Let's just check Loathing prices. We'll see if it's around 4.8 or if it's higher. 30. So there we go. It's 5. So it's, again, slightly higher. This is why I'm using the 120% multiplier to get a rough idea. And it is just a rough idea. I would have to actually sell all of these essences and keep track of all of that to know for sure if this is, 93. But I can generally speaking say it's about 90 divines. And I can generally speaking say that the 93.39, or let's convert over to current prices. So 3,135 chaos divided by 150, 20.9. So I'm making roughly 72 divines in profit in roughly 6 hours of farming, or about 12 divines an hour, which is really darn good. Again, to fully disclaim, these are rough approximations. I spent 95 chaos each, and I bought them roughly 36 hours ago. But we can change all that up. We can say, all right, they're a divine each now. All other factors being the same. What's the profit? Oh yeah, and I also spent roughly 2 divines on corrupted remnants, so it's still pretty close to 12 divines an hour, minus just a little bit. It's like 11.8 or 9 something. But all right, let's say 33 divines was my input cost, or let's go with 35. 93.39 minus 35 is 58.39 divines, divided by 6 hours that it took me to run it, or 9.7 divines an hour, which is still a very good rate. It's not as good as what I did earlier, but prices are also constantly shifting. So I don't know if all of these things, like, are Deafening Essence of Anguish actually 1.2C each in bulk? You have at least 30 of them. Are they actually 1.2C each? Why am I failing at finding the right purple here? Zeal, Spite, Loathing, Doubt, Suffering, Wrath, Torment. Okay, I just failed at that. I'm going to cheat. Oh, there we go. Somehow I scrolled over that twice. So there's 60 to a divine, which means if I upgraded my lower essences, that's 2.5C each. They're actually worth double what this says, if you have enough of them. Or maybe it's not worth doing that at all. Maybe I clear this, and I buy Primal Crystallized Life Force, and I reroll my Anguishes into other essences. That could also be more profitable. When you're dealing with just 5 divines in essence, you don't think about all that. But when you're dealing with possibly 100 divines and essences, this is what you think about to maximize your profits. And of course, that's before crafting everything. So, with that said, I've spent some time going over what I farmed, how I farmed it, and how it turned out. This is where I'm going to call the stream, but there's going to be a video in the future with the final results, and how I made my first 100-ish divines within Trial of the Ancestors League. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, leave a like. And if you want to know how it turns out, be sure to get subscribed. With that, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you again sometime soon.